Hello everyone, perfect pronunciation of my name. I'm so happy to be here. As of Friday, I wasn't going to be here. My boss was going to be here. He required emergency surgery on Monday, so on Friday he said to me, Suzanne, could you go to Manila next week? And to be honest, I jumped at the chance because actually my personal history is I started my involvement as a young person, as an activist in an international student movement when I was 14 years old. And being part of a global student movement that was run for, by and among secondary students was the life-changing experience for me, because for two main reasons. One of them is that I made friends, and I hope in the next few days you get to make some friends with each other, because friendship is going to be a really important part of how we achieve the global goals. We have to care about each other. Two, it made the world small, because I had friends in other places. So in the same way that, when you've never seen a certain car on the road until you buy it and then you see it everywhere, I had not tuned in to some of the situations that were occurring in the world until I had friends who lived in those places. And then when I heard what was happening in South Africa, what was happening in a particular place, in Sri Lanka, in somewhere else, I cared. I cared because I knew someone there. It made the world small for me. And through our actions together, through our solidarity, we're able to change things in my lifetime that I never thought would change. Apartheid in South Africa was a really big issue when I was a young person. And yet, in my lifetime, we changed that. We changed that situation in South Africa. Just as in the next 15 years, we're going to change some amazing things in the world that have to change. I don't want to talk for too long because I really want to have the chance to listen to you. But I wanted just to say that, in Australia, I'm responsible for our youth engagement program. The way that Plan International works is that we exist to create a just world for all children and equality for girls. And we do that in the everyday work projects that we do in communities. We always involve the children and young people that we work with as key stakeholders, as experts, if you like, in their own reality, who help us devise the solutions to the problems on the ground. We also have been on a journey to try to involve young people in our governance, actually in our decision making, in kind of walking the talk of who we are. And it has been a journey. And I want to tell you one story about last year, about something that happened for me that really kind of changed my way of thinking. So I've got a group of young people. They work with us, and every year we kind of work out, what will be our work together. So last year I shared with them our plans for the year's work, and they listened to what I had to say about all the issues we were working on, and then they said to me very politely,
I think the world...
climate change is not on your agenda. And I said, well, it is, but it's kind of way down. We're not an environmental organisation. We're going to work in coalition with others. But yeah, it's not, we do work in climate change, adaptation and resilience work. We definitely work in emergency situations and disasters, but it's not core to, we're a child rights organisation, I said to them. And they said, okay. And they went away. And then they came back to me and they said, so the biggest intergenerational justice issue in the world right now is climate change. So if you're a child rights organisation, climate change has to be your number one issue. And you know what, when they said that, I knew they were right. And I knew that I was wrong. And I changed my plans for the year. So instead what we did is we said, okay, if we were to make that part of our work for this year, how would we do that? And so one of the young people said, I want to go somewhere where young people are already experiencing the effects of climate change. I want to go somewhere in our region and I want to talk to those young people. So she fundraised and she came to the Philippines. And she worked with some of your youth councils and some of that work that young people are doing on trying to prepare and be more resilient for and adapt to climate change, who are living the reality of climate change right now. And she talked to people and she listened. And she also asked them, what do you think the Australian government should do, because we're a very big per capita emitter of CO2. So they gave her advice and they wrote little signs to our government, which we photographed. She came back to Australia, she met with 5 other youth organisations, and they did a consultation with over 1,000 young people about climate change in Australia, and they produced a report. In the report there was a foreword from 2 people, one from a girl from the Philippines living the reality now, a young leader here, and one from this young woman here, and the results of that survey. And they went around and they took it to politicians, they took it to environmental groups, and they took it to COP21. They used it in their sessions, they presented it to people, and they changed our work for the year. And in changing our work, they changed us. They made me realise that we cannot, what they taught me was nothing about us without us. Yeah? Nothing about us without us. And that became our motto. And that became our kind of way of working. So, in the last few days I've been in Manila, I haven't got to see very much of the city yet, partly because of the traffic. And I know that we've talked a bit about the traffic, and I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about ADB and the journey it's been on to involve and engage young people not in changing the bank actually, in changing the world. You're here in the next few days not to change the bank, not to change plan, not to change ISEC, to change the world. That's what we need your help with, because we don't have all the ideas, we don't have all the people on the ground, we don't have all the solutions at our hands. Some of the problems that we're facing we've never faced before. They're complex, they're across countries, they're very deep problems that need serious addressing, that only you can address. So I was thinking about, what does a bank have to do with young people, really? Especially a bank that largely deals with a lot of infrastructure. And that made me think about traffic and about, this is my experience in the last few days. What has, traffic got to do with young people and a bank? But, young people are the most disproportionately affected by respiratory disease caused by congestion and pollution. Young people are the most disproportionately affected by the road accidents on our roads and the road safety conditions. You're robbed of time, your most precious commodity, your time to participate, to study, to be with your family, for leisure, to work. Your country's robbed of your productivity, your opportunity to grow the economy so more people can participate. And ultimately, we are creating a problem for ourselves that is contributing to climate change that we have to tackle. So if you think that, your world and the world of a bank are very separate, actually, I think they're really connected. And I hope in the next few days you find opportunities in lots of this work that you do to really see where those intersections are and where we can contribute together to creating some different kind of vision for the kinds of investments that over time ADB will have to make if we're going to create a different kind of society, a different kind of world. And I wanted to say a kind of big shout out to the people at ADB who have championed this work, to Carmela and Chris and Heidi, and I know there are so many others, because, in an organisation like a bank, you are not the normal stakeholders. You are not the people that they're used to seeing, and it's a bit odd for a bank to be dealing with young people, and yet people here have championed that work because they actually genuinely believe, and they're really smart to think so, because there are 700 million of you in this region alone. 60% of the world's young people live in this region. That's 700 million people with creativity, energy, work, passion, a contribution to make to creating something better. And not only that, you'll be the people who'll be paying off the loans. You really are. So, you have a role to play in the decisions that are being made now in your name by your governments, the kind of investments that are being made that you will have to pay off, right? So this is not an issue for the future. It's an issue for you now. People will burden you with debt, that you want them to burden you with debt for the right kinds of things, yeah? So you need to kind of be thinking about that in the next few days. I want you to, when you're working in your groups, to think about the 700 million people. Not all of them are here, right? But through technology, we can reach more of them, and not all of them have had access to all the opportunities that you have. We have to make sure that in this next 15 years, we bring everyone along with us. So I want you in your groups not just to think about yourself and your community, because that's a really unique perspective, but think about those other people. Think about girls. Think about the most marginalised, the disabled, the people who don't have the opportunities to contribute, the people who are locked out because of poverty, who haven't even seen the economic and technological advances of the last 15 years. Next 15, we've got to make sure they're part of that journey too, yeah? I wanted to show you, and I don't know if this is possible, I wanted to finish by just a kind of cute video. You're the young people, but in terms of the global goals, at our recent global leadership conference, we played this video to all of our leaders in our organisation, and it just made us laugh, and it made us think really seriously about who really are the people who are going to drive this change in the next 15 years. So I really look forward to listening to you. You can talk to me on Twitter by using my name. I'm at Susanne Legena. I hope I get to meet with you. Please come and talk to me with your ideas. Plan is very excited, very proud to be associated with ADB, with ASIC and all the rest of the organisations who are partaking in the next couple of days. Let's cue the video. I hope it gives you some inspiration.
I think the world needs a pep talk. I need you to look, people. Look with your eyes. This is where we live. It's a good place. Look around you. What do you see? Volcanoes, sunsets, Justin Timberlake's teeth. Those things are perfect. But I'm telling you, world, we got some work to do. Open your eyes. How cool is it that we're all alive on the same planet at the same time? I think it's time that we start making cool stuff happen. On the planet we live on, there's poverty, hunger, injustice. The world is full of awesome. It's also full of not awesome. On the planet we live on, there's also potential, possibilities. Puppies. Yeah, I said puppies. I'm getting distracted. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're all here. We're all born to make a difference. It can be easy to get overwhelmed, feel like you can't do anything. And that's why we have each other. Yeah, there's lots of bad stuff in the world, but there's also you. And there's me. Time to set some goals. I'm not talking squad goals. I'm talking global goals. All of y'all, the whole world, is my squad goals. What the world needs is love, and also an end to extreme poverty, eliminating inequality, fixing our planet. That's why we got you. That's why we have each other. That's why we got goals, global goals. Together, we're louder. Together, we're brighter. Together, we're gooder. That isn't a word. Global goal number 4, education. Talking about school, I gotta tell you something. School cafeterias can be scary places. Where do I sit? Where do I not sit? Where's the cool table? Let me tell you something. The cool table is wherever you are. In the lunchroom of the world, there shouldn't be a cool table. Nope. The whole lunchroom should be one big cool table. A big table. A table where everybody's invited. Where everybody has a seat. Where everybody has enough. That's the kind of table that I want to be at. That's the kind of world I want to live in. That's the kind of world that we're building. Because of people like you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Let's live in the world where awesome is celebrated every day. Where people treat people like they're people. Those are my kind of people. So get out there. And if you find yourself feeling like it's too tough, remember, you're not alone. There's lots of people at the table. And it's a cool table. Open your eyes. You'll see.